Hello, everyone. The fifth day of the Cannes Con. I'm not quite sure.
Cannes.
Cannes. The fifth day of the Cannes Film Festival has occurred, and it's probably the biggest day yet with Lynn Ramsey's Die My Love, starring Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson, getting some reviews. Got Richard Linklater's Nouvelle Vague or New Wave, as well as Renoir. Those are the main titles we're going to be talking about today. Probably my most anticipated film of the festival, Die My Love, as we mentioned before, directed by Lynn Ramsey, starring Jennifer Lawrence in the lead role, Robert Pattinson, Sissy Spacek, Lakeith Stanfield, many others. In case you don't know, it follows Jennifer Lawrence's character, who is married to Robert Pattinson's character, just recently gave birth, and they move to a remote, forgotten rural area, and she struggles to maintain her sanity as she battles with psychosis and a bunch of stuff going on mentally, it seems, from what I've read about the book. I'm very excited for this. I going into the festival, I thought this is going to be a major contender, not just for Lawrence and actors, but like picture a bunch of other stuff. As we can see, it's sitting right there, 92% Rotten Tomatoes with 13 reviews. That's pretty good. Let's get into some of the said reviews and see where it might stand going forward in this awards race. Is it going to win something at Cannes? Is it going to carry over to the Oscars? Let's see. Let the reviews speak for themselves. So we've got Ryan Latanzio, who says, what Lawrence achieves here is extremely impressive. A marquee movie star throwing herself with abandon into a filmmaker's warped and demandingly miserable vision. So pretty good review there, but he did give it a B. It's not a rave. It's not like a 9 or 10 out of 10 there, but still very positive. And once again, you'll see in all these reviews, everyone is singling out Lawrence's performance in particular. It seems to be, regardless of even if you don't like the film, it seems like most people are like, well, Jennifer Lawrence is still great in it. So that's a great sign for her. Next one. Matt Neglia over at Next Best Picture says Die My Love isn't just a film about postnatal depression, it's a brutal symphony of love and madness with two actors at the top of their game under a filmmaker so firmly in control of this narrative and its message. A strong rating there as well with a 9 out of 10. And McKeely over at Collider says Die My Love is further proof that no one is doing it quite like Lynn Ramsey as she draws out a career best performance from Jennifer Lawrence. Career best is saying something for her. In a must-see thriller spectacle that turns a single woman's experience into a brutally honest psychological epic. We'll get to it in a second. Jennifer Lawrence career best work. I mean, that sounds very good to me. And then let's get into some negative thoughts in it as well, because it hasn't been for everyone. I've seen some people say it's like very mixed, very mixed. This isn't going to be an Oscar thing at all. Like this isn't going to pan out. It's leaning. Most of the reactions I've seen have been positive, and even like some of the mixed ones still say some positive things about it. There's very few people who I've seen who just like straight up hate it, but I would still say, as you can see with the 92%, it also has a 70%, I believe, out of only 4 reviews on Metacritic. It's gotten pretty good reviews overall. I would definitely not completely throw this out so early, but people like see 5 reviews and they're like, well, I'm done with it. It's done for. So people overreact to lots of stuff, but who knows? Maybe I am in the other direction as well. But some negative leaning reviews. Barry Hertz says, Die My Love. Lynn Ramsey's version of Night Bitch. We did see a similar tale last year with Amy Adams dealing with postpartum depression. 2 hours of Jennifer Lawrence and sometimes Robert Pattinson going absolutely feral, all backgrounded by the most assaultive sound mix in recent memory. Exceptionally unpleasant in its obviousness. And let's look at the other negative one I've got here. Owen Gleiberman says the burdens of motherhood can be every bit as staggering as the joys. Die My Love, for all of Ramsey's talent, isn't designed to explore that experience. It's designed rather as a kind of thesis movie, reckless on the surface, but overdetermined. For most of the negative reviews I've seen, they seem to be saying it's like it has like its message, like it has its thoughts, like the thesis, as Owen said, but it doesn't like dive deep into it. It's as it varies as well. It's like a little obvious is what some people seem to think. It might be a little too much for some people. Is also the vibe I got from some of the reviews. It definitely because she's going through, as it's, I think it's the synopsis, is psychosis. There's some weird stuff that she experiences. I think vision wise, I don't know. I haven't read the book, but from what I've seen from the reviews and also from what I have read about the book, it goes there. I mean, even just in the one clip alone that has released of Robert Pattinson and Jennifer Lawrence walking in the grass and like looking at each other like dogs, it's definitely going to be a little weirder, but I still think it can definitely be a big contender overall. That letterboxed curve, pretty positive there. Most people giving it a 4. It's got a decent chunk everywhere there, but most people giving it a 4. Decent chunk of 3.5. Also a decent chunk of 4.5. Decent chunk of 3, and also 5. Not a ton of. That's a pretty good curve, I would say, when it comes to letterboxed. So looking at all of this, like I said, even in the negative reviews, people are saying Jennifer Lawrence is good in it. And even in the negative reviews, they're still saying some positive stuff about it. So I'm not writing this one off at all. I think that this is, in my opinion, right now, Jennifer Lawrence is looking like she's going to win the prize for Best Actress at the Cannes Awards. I think her main competition is now Renata Rensby for sentimental value of what's left, unless there's other films that can surprise, like Young Mothers or something else could get, or even Resurrection, who knows, a stunning lead actress performance. But right now, it seems like everyone, when they talk about this film, the first thing they talk about is Jennifer Lawrence, and it seems like career best work is like, that is saying something, considering, I mean, the performances she's given. She's like got what, like 4 or 5 Oscar nominations. I think her best performance was Mother, and this performance here has been drawn comparison wise to Mother, with all the stuff her character is going through. So if this is even better than that, if this is like career best stuff, I think not only is she probably going to win the Best Actress prize here, I think she can carry that over to the Oscars. Honestly, this all depends. As you can see there, there's a TBD next to distribution on who picks it up. But I mean, we saw it last time with Emma Stone, won her first Oscar younger. I mean, they're also besties in real life, but won her first Oscar younger. Has a second film come around that's, I think, Love will probably not be quite as like mainstream appealing as Poor Things. We'll see. I haven't seen it, but second film comes around. Most people say this is career best work from this actress who's extremely charismatic, and we love her, and she's great on the campaign trail. And we gave her her Oscar younger. She came back around, did also career best work this time. It really depends on who picks it up. Right now, I think it's one of the best reviewed films of the festival thus far. People keep saying mixed. It's very much so leaning positive from most people from what I've seen. Like if a Neon or A24 picks it up, I will feel very good about it, especially because A24 doesn't have anyone else to campaign for Best Actress, really. But I think hopefully it'll be one of those two. Those will give me some faith in it. If the movie doesn't become an overall thing, which I kind of think it will, I kind of think it might be like kind of like Black Swan, where it's a little off-putting, it's a little weird for some people, but there's a great central lead actress performance that could potentially win. And it's got a great directorial vision here from everything I've seen, especially shouting out the cinematography, which I believe Black Swan also got, and the adaptation of the book here. So it would also get a screenplay, maybe director nomination. I'm thinking around that. Robert Pattinson got a lot of shout outs in the reviews as well. That really also depends on competition. He easily could. I think they would obviously put him in supporting actor, not lead. But that really depends on. It's way too early to call that. I would keep an eye out for him, but him getting in there would be a sign of the film's strength. I don't really think he's just gonna like who knows? It could be a Naiad where it's just like a lead and supporting nomination, nothing else. But I don't know. These aren't Naiad kind of performances. Those kind of performances are very different. Those are biopic performances. Same goes with last year with Sebastian Stan and Jeremy Strong, biopic performances that didn't get anything else besides lead and supporting. I think worst case scenario, Jennifer Lawrence gets in there. I think she gets in. Worst case scenario is like Spencer, where it's a little too weird, a little too artsy to work for everyone, but the lead actress performance is just undeniable that she still gets in there. Best case scenario, picked up by one of the big distributors. I think it gets similar to like a Black Swan or Tar package, where it gets picture, director, cinematography, screenplay, lead actress, and then maybe Pattinson can come along, maybe one other thing. So I'm very excited to see it. What do you think? Do you think she's going to win the Cannes Best Actress prize? Do you think that'll carry over to the Oscars? Do you think, like I think right now, she's going to win her second Oscar? Let me know down below. Let's move on to our next film. Next up, we've got Nouvelle Vague, or New Wave, from Richard Linklater. Which, if you don't know, it follows the production of Jean-Luc Godard's Breathless, the instrumental film in the French New Wave of cinema. And starring, you've got Zoe Deutsch as, I believe, Jean Seberg is her name. You've got Guillaume Marbeck, as I believe he's playing the director, and Jean-Luc Godard, and you've also got Aubrey Dillon. I've seen most shout-outs performance-wise for Marbeck, his performance, so who knows, you could keep an eye out for him potentially winning Best Actor here at Cannes, but we'll see. Let's get into the reviews first. It's sitting pretty solid there to 100% at Rotten Tomatoes. Once again, only 11 reviews. It's not a ton, as we'll see with the reviews here. I don't think this is, I think that's a lot of, that's 11, like 3 or 3.5 out of 5s, rather than like 10 out of 10s. But let's see, reviews. Ben Kroll over at The Wrap says, a labor of love and a product of considerable craft, Richard Linklater's Nouvelle Vague is more than just a Valentine to the French New Wave. The film is also a stealth showcase for a filmmaker rarely heralded for his technical sophistication. So this is maybe one of his more technically impressive films. Definitely keep an eye out on it for cinematography. That's what I've right now. You're in advanced. I've had it pinpointed for because it's black and white. That branch loves black and white. Um, so yeah, one of his more technically impressive films, it seems, for Richard Linklater. It's been a minute since he's been at the Oscars. I think it's been since Boyhood. So I don't know if it'll happen with this one though. Let's continue. Peter Bradshaw over at The Guardian says it's a good-natured and intelligent effort for which Goddard himself, were he still alive, would undoubtedly rip Linklater a new one. 3 out of 5 there. Obviously not a rave. It seems like good-natured, but not anything incredibly groundbreaking. Next up, Pete Hammond over at Deadline says this is that rare bird, a movie about movies that doesn't miss a beat. Whether you have seen Breathless or not, it doesn't really matter. If you love film, cinema, and the dreamers who create it, this one will simply take your breath away. And our last review, Owen Gleiberman over at Variety says it's a cinephile's film through and through, a making of that won't make much sense to anyone who hasn't seen the original film, but it's also breezy and relatively entertaining, never taking itself too seriously. So little mixed messages here. Pete saying that you don't need to see Breathless to understand it, and Owen seems to think otherwise. So the vibe I'm getting from all of these is it's like a great movie for like the cinephiles, like for people who especially like Breathless and know about the French New Wave and all of that. It'll appeal to them. I don't know. It seems like maybe it's more of like a hangout vibe kind of film. It might be a little too just might not have like the traditional narrative structure to appeal to a more like mainstream crowd. And I also just don't sense in any of these, besides like maybe one, a ton of passion. And I think you really need passion to win awards, whether it's at Cannes or carrying over to the Oscars in the future award season. So we'll see. Obviously, it's a small bunch, so we'll have to see. Once again, also, this is another film, TBD, no distributor. So if it's picked up by a good distributor, it could become a contender. I definitely think it's a contender for international film in general, because it's in the whole thing is in French, I'm pretty sure. So I think it'll definitely be a contender for that category. Other than that, I don't know. I don't really right now see, especially because I saw that we have the screen jury grid that we'll talk about at the end of the video with the critics and their overall average rating of the films that they've seen. They also do a French one of those for like French critics, and I saw that the rating on that one for this film was lower than a lot. It was like pretty low. I think it was like 0.9 or something, quite low. So it's maybe not appealing as much to the French crowd because I mean, as an American filmmaker, diving into the French New Wave and Godard's Breathless is definitely a big task. So I don't know. We'll see. I need to know more, like distributor wise, and just more reception. We can look here at the curve to completely understand if it's a contender. Obviously, a majority of reviews here giving it a 3.5 or a 4. Decent amount of 4.5, also a decent amount of 3. And our last film here, Renoir, from Japan, directed by Hayakawa, who directed Plan 75, was her previous film. And it's about a young child who has a sick father and a mother who works a lot. 11-year-old Fuki is left to her own imagination, fascinated by telepathy, and falls even deeper into her own fantasy world. She's also dealing with grief and loss and all that stuff, centered around this. Lots of people have been pointing out this lead actress performance here. Let's look at the reviews. Wendy Ide says, Renoir may leave some questions, but it's an elegant and thoughtful piece of filmmaking that digs into the guilt of confusion that underpins a child's struggle to process death. Negative one here. Steve Pond over at The Wrap says, Renoir is a coming-of-age story that doesn't care much about the lessons learned or milestones reached. Instead, it meanders for its 2-hour running time, filled with lyrical moments that are belied by grim undercurrents. And last but not least, Stephanie Bunbury says, this humanity is in fact Hayakawa's hallmark. If this story doesn't coalesce as seamlessly as her first film does, it still has the power to touch and then haunt us. Looking at the curve here, not the best curve, especially those first 2 curves for Die My Love and New Wave looked pretty similar. Wise, this is more like, it's a decent chunk of like 2.5 stars there, 3 stars, and some 3.5, decent chunk of 3.5 as well. So I don't see, that seems like not going to work for everyone. Not anything incredibly amazing, probably not going to win a prize unless obviously you can't like predict, like I said, the jury's specific individual taste. So even if something that gets pretty like reviews like this, it could hit the right chord with the people on the jury. So you can never completely know. Right now, I wouldn't say that this is any sort of contender for a Cannes Award or like international feature at the Oscars. Let's look at the screen jury standings. We don't have for any of the films because just the whole different time zone timing. We don't have it for any of the films that we talked about today, but we do have some updates from the last video. In the lead right now still is two prosecutors at 3.1, Sound of Falling 2.8, Case 137 at 2.3, Cyrot at 2.5. The Little Sister, which we talked about yesterday, has a 2, and Eddington sitting beautifully there at a 1.5. That is quite low. So yeah, I'm still excited to see Eddington. You just say that's the kind of film I think you have to definitely make up your own mind about for sure. I mean, Emilia Perez got amazing reviews here out of Cannes last year from most people, and that was definitely not my cup of tea. Was not everyone's cup of tea. So with all films, I say see it and make up your own mind. But I'm excited for that film, even despite that 1.5. We'll have to see where Die My Love and New Wave and Renoir land on here. I don't think any of those three are gonna top that 3.1 though. Honestly. So right now I think Two Prosecutors remains up out front. I don't think that's gonna win the Palm though. That could maybe I don't know, win like a grand jury prize or like maybe a screenplay or something. But yeah, that's where that stands. So yeah, that is everything that happened on day 5 of Cannes. We've got Renoir, we've got New Wave, we've got Die My Love. What are your thoughts on these three films, their premieres? What are you excited for? Do you think, like me, Jennifer Lawrence is coming for potentially her second Oscar? Do you think that film can be an overall contender like me as well? I know lots of people after the reactions were like, maybe not, but I'm still a believer. So comment your thoughts down below, like the video, and subscribe to stay tuned for the continued Cannes coverage. We'll have to see tomorrow. Who knows what by the time this video comes out today. Fisher's Keen, Secret Agent. Then we've also got High Slows, we've got Sentimental Value, Alpha. Plenty of stuff still coming up. So you'll want to subscribe to stay tuned for everything that's going on with those. So thank you all, and we'll see you in the next Cannes video. Goodbye. Au revoir.